One of these three men is an expert on unidentified flying objects, commonly called flying saucers. What is your name, please?
My name is J. Allen Hynek.
My name is J. Allen Hynek.
My name is J. Allen Hynek.
Only one of these men is the real J. Allen Hynek. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and welcome once again to Tell the Truth. Brought to you this evening by Prell Concentrate. Good evening, panel.
Good evening, Bob.
That's what I like. Spirit all the way down the line. All right, open up that envelope, if you will, please, and follow along as I read you this first story. I, J. Allen Hynek, am a professor of astronomy and director of a large university observatory. I am also consultant to the United States Air Force on unidentified flying objects, sometimes popularly called flying saucers. Part of my job is on-the-spot investigation of sightings of strange things in the sky. Recently, again, there have been a rash of reports of mysterious flying objects. One New Mexico policeman described in detail a brilliant white egg-shaped object which roared away as he approached. A state police captain says he found the ground still smoldering several hours later. While many of the hundreds of sightings each year can be explained as the result of natural phenomena, others, so far, seem to be without a logical explanation. Signed, J. Allen Hynek. Panel, these three gentlemen all claim to be Dr. J. Allen Hynek, astronomer and Air Force consultant on UFOs, or unidentified flying objects. Let's start this questioning with Tom Poston, if we may, Tom.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Bud. I'll ask number 3 if there's been any photographic evidence of UFO.
There's been a lot of photographic evidence, but none that we can definitely pinpoint and say this is extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial? Terrestrial?
From someplace other than the planet Earth.
Thank you. Number 2, has there been any real tactile evidence? Has anybody been hurt, injured, or touched any of these unidentified flying objects in the air, on the ground?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
Number 1, has there been any radar evidence that you know of?
No, none that I've heard of or would come to my attention through the Air Force.
Oh, thank you.
Peggy Cass.
Thank you. Number 3, do you think people drive these white egg-shaped things? I mean, people from outer space?
You won't find anybody who's a consultant to the Air Force, Miss Cass, who will give you an affirmative answer on that.
Oh. Oh. Well, that takes care of me. Number 2, who's Long John Neville?
I think he's a radio announcer.
Thank you. Number 1, have there been many things that you think came from outer space in the last, say, year?
I have an open mind on it. There's no evidence to support whether they came from outer space or not. There are 15 or 16 cases during 1963 that have not as yet been thoroughly investigated. There's no good answer to them one way or the other.
And number 2, this New Mexico police...
Orson Bean.
Yes, number 1, who coined the expression UFO, unidentified flying object?
It was during a newspaper interview after a man named Kenneth Arnold cited 9 objects flying off around near Mount Rainier.
Number 3, who that used to write for the magazine Variety wrote a book about UFO?
I have no idea.
Number 2, do you know?
No, I don't.
Number 1?
No.
Number 2, now, just off the cuff, just between you and me, do you think there's any of them little greenies in the egg-shaped things? I won't tell the Air Force.
I don't have any information that there are, no.
Number 1, now...
Kitty Carlisle.
Number 2, do you know who Gerald Hurd is?
Yes, he is a science fiction writer, I believe, in England.
Number one, this flying object that the New Mexico policeman cited was built like an upside-down bathtub, I read, that glowed. And it said it could have been one of those things that the Air Force is doing that takes off sort of like that. You know.
Sort of like what?
Number one understands. Is that possible?
I hardly think so, but well, we have to keep an open mind.
Number three, there have been a lot of phenomena around Fort Knox, and it had been suggested that there was a concentration of gold there that created some kind of odd things. Is that possible?
I think what you mean is there have been a lot of reports from the Fort Knox area, and this may be because people in that area suspect that people might be after the gold.
Uh-huh.
And that's it. Time for you now to take your flying objects in hand and mark your ballots, if you will, panel. Mark them at once. Without consultation, simply vote now, if you will, for number 1, for number 2, or for number 3. And our team of challengers will receive the usual $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked, panel? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 3. He seemed like a kind of a no-nonsense fella. I guess they all did, but I voted for number 3.
Peggy, which one did you select?
Well, I would think number 3 was a professor because he acts like a lot of teachers I used to have, but I voted for number 1 because, I don't know, he seems so sincere.
Orson Bean, which one do you think is the real one?
I voted for number 2 because I think Long John Neville has a show. I heard it just the other night. There was some poor wretch on claiming to have been to Venus.
He gets have been there.
So that I don't think anyone who knows about UFO would say, I think he's a radio announcer. He would know. And I think, therefore, number 2 is trying to throw us off by appearing. Sorry, friends. Tune in tomorrow.
Kitty Carlisle.
Well, I voted for number 2. I think they were all absolutely remarkable, but Gerald Hurd is a man who wrote a famous book about flying saucers and unidentified objects, and number 1 was marvelous, but I'm for number 2.
Very well, that splits the vote about as widely as it can be split, with a panel of 4, 1, 2 for number 2, 1 for number 1, 1 for number 3. Let's go into the charm circle now and see how that stacks up with truth itself, as we learn now which of these gentlemen is indeed the astronomer and Air Force consultant on unidentified flying objects. Therefore, will the real Dr. J. Allen Hynek please stand up? Very well done. Just to set the record straight, Dr. Hynek is chairman of the Department of Astronomy at Northwestern University and director of the Lindheimer Astronomic Research Center. Very, very pleased to have you with us, Doctor. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Frank Amy. I have my own engineering firm in Hopewell Junction, New York. Frankstown.
Thank you, sir. Number 3, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Barry Farber, and I do a local interview program on WOR.
Well, you did a good job of fooling this panel, believe me. And in checking the score, I'm sure you know already that there were 2 incorrect votes, and that's twice $250 or $500 coming your way from Aerowax, and of course a gift of all the fine products from the makers of Aerowax. Gentlemen, thank you very much for working us into your evenings, and I hope it was as much pleasure for you as it was for us. Goodbye, and God bless you.